Order! Order! You are an incorrigible delinquent at times. Behave yourself, man!
When Michael Wolff's controversial book about Donald Trump was published in the United States, it so angered the president he called the author a liar and a total loser. Among other things, Fire and Fury suggested that Trump was devastated when he actually won the election and that all his senior staffers believe he is unfit to be president and that Trump campaign links to Russia were, in Steve Bannon's view, treasonous. All sensational stuff. Since publication, Michael Wolff's own reputation has come under fire, however, while sales of the book continue to soar, and he joins me now. Let me start, welcome, by asking you about your access. Did you get to talk to the president once he'd become president?
I've spent about 3 hours in one-on-one conversations with the president over the course of the campaign, the transition, and in the White House.
In the White House, OK. And I read an account of you being able to sort of sit on the sofa just outside the Oval Office while people were coming and going for hours and hours and hours. Is that true?
That is true. So
you had very good access. Why would they give somebody like you, not a natural Trump supporter, such access to the White House?
I don't know the answer to that, but I can speculate that they're totally incompetent. They have no idea what they're doing. It's a White House in utter chaos, so I was allowed to slip in. Beyond that, you know, I actually think the president and I have gotten along in the past. So,
in the past?
Yes, in the past.
You're a total loser.
Well, now I'm a total loser. Before that, in many things, I was the best, the greatest, on top of the world.
But to be clear, you did speak to him while he was in the White House?
I certainly did.
OK, and I guess, for people who don't know the book, and there are a few, the overall message is that President Trump is not fit to be president.
It's not my message, and I was very clear about that. This is the message of the people around him, his closest advisors.
That's extremely worrying. So when it comes to something, we've had this terrible shooting and the controversy after that and all the kids coming to him on the street.
Of course.
Is he capable of having the empathy for them to actually change policy, for instance, on guns in America, do you think?
No, well, I don't think he can change policy on guns in America because his base, that's arguably the single most important issue for his base. There's no possibility under the political sun that he can change direction on that, even if he has empathy, which he probably doesn't, or would have to dig deeper than he's ever dug.
Michael, many people will say the trouble with this is that it is a kind of liberal Washington or New York fantasy. In other words, it's people like you never wanted him to win, are upset that he has won, and now you're taking him down.
Let me clarify that. First thing, and actually I get criticism from the other side that I was too nice to Trump before I got into the White House. I have no political axe at all to grind here. I may be one of the few writers, and it's probably one of the reasons I got access to begin with. I was only interested in Donald Trump as a character. I knew that would be a story. I was perfectly willing to write Donald Trump is the unexpected success story.
That isn't the book you wrote, however. And
that
you are
is
now
not the circumstance that I found.
And you are now under attack, even from some liberal mainstream newspapers, for the accuracy of some of this. Let me ask you about a few things. Tony Blair, for instance, was absolutely outraged by what you said about him trying to get a job as part of the Middle East Quartet.
Well, and let me rush to this, that I sat in the White House on the couch listening. I wasn't supposed to overhear this, but they were standing right there with Tony Blair and Jared Kushner standing not 15 feet in front of me, with Tony Blair, let me choose my words carefully, sucking up to Jared Kushner.
Because he says, and I quote, "This story is a complete fabrication, literally from beginning to end. I've never had such a conversation in the White House, outside of the White House, with Jared Kushner or anybody else."
I don't. Then I would have to say.
So he's lying, you're saying?
I have to say Tony Blair isn't a complete liar. literally 15 feet away from me.
You're saying he is a complete liar?
Yes, absolutely. In this instance, absolutely.
One of the things about this, I mean, I really enjoyed the book, but I was never quite sure whether I was reading an absolutely brilliant novelistic account or whether this was actually old-fashioned journalism, because there's lots of quotation marks around things, and I'm never sure whether you're actually there recording or whether you're putting together meetings that took place after the event.
Let me ask you, you've read Bob Woodward's account?
I have, yes.
Okay, there's no difference here. This is the way you get to see what's going on inside the White House is you need a writer to make some deals. Let's be perfectly honest. And the deals are, you will tell me what you know, you White House, you close presidential aide, and I will protect you. I won't say that I spoke to you.
I understand the technique. The problem is, as a reader, you're never absolutely sure what exactly happened or not, and that allows a certain amount of innuendo. And in particular, there's been the innuendo about the United Nations ambassador having an affair with President Trump. Again, she's outraged by this, and she kind of feels that you have been pushing forward this kind of general suggestion that there was an affair going on.
There is no suggestion in the book of that. There was a suggestion made on a comedy show in the U.S. that I had suggested this. So I can put this to rest. I don't know who the president is having an affair with. Do I believe the president is having an affair? It's Donald Trump.
Well, okay, but again, it's innuendo. It's Donald Trump. That's the problem.
Well, let's talk innuendo. Let's follow that down. Here is a man whose career and life have been about pursuing women. He's been very open about this. He's been in the women pursuing business,
but
the beauty,
he's now
the
in
beauty
the White
pageant.
House. He is surrounded by.
But that is exactly the point. He is now, this man who has had this career is now in the White House. The White House has not cleansed him of anything else. His behavior has not changed over any detail in the White House. Yeah. Do you think it's changed over this detail? I don't know.
But you made the very strange assertion that Ambassador Haley was embracing this story. In fact, she said it's offensive and disgusting. That's a funny kind of embracing, isn't it?
No. Actually, that's not what happened, and that's not what I said. I said I didn't accuse her of anything, and she hasn't been accused of anything. Well, certainly by me, and suddenly she was denying this. Again, I will say perfectly upfront, I don't know who the president is having an affair with. I don't know what his habits are in that regard in the White House. If I did know, it certainly would have been in the book.
But you don't know that he wasn't, and you don't know that he is. You assume that he is because that's the kind of man.
Yes, I assume. I assume because this is Donald Trump, and I think that's an absolutely fair assumption.
Michael Wolff, thanks very much indeed for talking to us.
I've been getting away with it all my